How do I get into the great outdoors? What do I need to know? Do I take a tent? Do I take a swag? Do I get a pop-up camper? Am I one of those flogs who's in a rooftop tent? Or am I in a hard shell? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you every single thing that you need to know to get out on the road and start having a great time. Do you know why this is the world's best four-wheel driving channel? Because we do it 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. We don't waste our time making shitty videos. This ain't no TikTok bullshit. Shut up and listen. This is everything you need to know. This is the ultimate off-road camping setup video brought to you by the world's best four-wheel driving channel. People, this is normally how the... Keep it rolling. People, this is normally how the trajectory works. You start off getting really drunk and just sleeping in a bog hole because it's comfortable and wet like Next up, you end up sleeping in the back of your car. After that, the next step is actually getting a tent from Kmart for 29 bucks, the kind that you see floating around music festivals because all those lazy bastards are too lazy to take them home, pricks. After that, you're getting into a swag because now you're a real man. After that though, you're like, I'm sick of the bugs, I'm sick of the mess, I want a rooftop tent like those other flogs that are in those Suzuki Jimneys with rooftop tents. And after that though, you're like, I think I've got some friends. You are delusional after all, and you end up buying a camper trailer. You can either get a hard floor one, which means it flips out like that and it's got a hard floor, or you get a soft floor one, which means it folds out that way and you end up setting it up in the mud. And when you get sick of all of that, you end up going, I think I need a caravan, and you've got two main options. You've got a pop top like this, or you've got a hard shell. So which one should you buy? Just be patient, we're getting to that. So people, let's start with the cheapest option, and that is tents. Now you can get them from absolutely anywhere. You can get them secondhand, or you can get them new. You can get them for under 50 bucks. That is the best thing about them. Everything else about them is shit. They usually end up being a human nappy, because let me tell you about my friend James. He had bad chicken twice in a row, then we went abseiling. He ended up in his tent using it as a human nappy. I tell you what, he blasted droppings all over the wall and that thing had to be set on fire. I'm not even joking. And then there's my friend Emma. When we went up to Woodford Folk Festival, she ended up with her head zipped outside. Actually, I probably shouldn't even tell you that because she's probably going to be watching. Tents, they're cheap and they're shit. Let's move on to swags. Imagine for a second that you were a human-sized penis wearing a scratchy condom made out of canvas that also smells like farts. Welcome to sleeping in a swag. Now a swag is like a tent, but it's smaller, heavier, way more expensive. Why? Because it's got a mattress built into the bottom of it. And if you don't want to be down on the ground amongst the dirt and the shit and the bugs, you can put them on a little stretcher stand as well. Or what you can do is spend a bit more money and become one of those flogs with a rooftop tent. And they do have a number of benefits. Basically, you flop it out and they're auto-erecting, and that's great because it makes it very quick and easy. You're out of the dirt, you're up high, you usually need a little ladder thing. They can cost $2,000 to $3,000, but that said, when I was hosting Top Gear recently in Italy, I slept in one that was 8,000 bucks because it was on top of a Porsche Dakar. Here's though the big problem with rooftop tents. Most people will think you're a flog because it's like, that's not real swagging, and you're like, I know, I don't want to do real swagging, but they'll think you're shit, which is why you need to skip the rooftop tent and go straight to a camper trailer. A camper trailer is basically a glorified box trailer that has got a canvas tent built into it. You got two options, a hard floor, which means it'll concertina out like this and you sleep on this bit that's hard, or it flops out like that and you've got a tent section that goes out on the ground. The biggest problem with these is they are an absolute pain in the ass, particularly if you've got an annex. There's about 600 little poles, you've got to put them all together, you've got to tie them down. If you're planning on stopping somewhere just for one night, these things are a massive pain in the ass. Also inside, they usually don't have any of the facilities that a proper pop top or a caravan has. Now, I had a Black Series Patron for years, and a real positive about them though is that they hold their value really well. I bought that tent in a box trailer for $15,000 and sold it 5 years later for $18,000. So they do hold their value really well. But once you get sick of shitting in a plastic bag and you realize you need real facilities, you will upgrade to something like this, which is a pop-up, pop-out. It expands. What's it called? A pop-up caravan. Pops out. A pop-up caravan is basically a caravan where you'll hit your head on it all the time unless you pop it up and pop it out. So you can either go front to back or back to front. That's up to you and your missus and depending on what your preference is. But the idea of these is they're lighter than a hard shell caravan and there's a lot of benefits to them. They usually cost a little bit less. They also hold their value really well. And you get all of the normal stuff that you would expect in a caravan while still having that tent-like camping experience. You get your fridge, you got your freezer, they've often got solar, you've got your stove over there. Oh, my mate Marty's here. G'day, mate, how you doing?
You got my gas bottle?
What?
You got my gas bottle? This campground seems dodgy.
Yeah.
Someone took it. Oh, we're not hitting our heads.
Did they actually take your camp bottle?
Yeah, I got no gas bottle.
Do you remember the time we went camping down in, we probably shouldn't say the suburb, and someone actually in our...
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Because it's exactly dick height.
One of the great things about a van like this, which is called a Jayco Expander, is that you can have the pop top like this. You've got a van that's not too long, but also it'll expand all the way out like this. So when it comes to your bed, this here pops out like this, you plug that in, and this here will, believe it or not, turn into a queen bed. So you pop that in there like that, get your light on, also got a blue light to stop your kids doing drugs, and then 2 clips here and here, and this whole bed will turn into a queen size bed. And the great thing about that is that you can sleep in here like this, and you've got the experience of being in a tent. So above you, you've got, that is the canvas, but above that, you've actually got the shell of the caravan. But out here, you've got the experience of being in a tent. So you've got the best of both worlds. Or is it the best of both worlds? Because as we've just worked out, tents are shit. This is the problem with these kind of expander caravans. They're noisy, they don't cool well, they don't heat well, and they're also not safe. If you're just stopping somewhere for one day and you take your tow car off and drive out, if you're leaving it set up like this, with a box cutter, someone can come in and just steal all your stuff. So if you are going to be camping for a few days, this does make sense. If you're only stopping at places for one night at a time, then you're probably way better off in getting what we should have all got in the first place, and that is a hard shell, full-size caravan. When you finally ascend to the epitome of off-road living, you will end up in a hard shell caravan. And while we don't have the budget to actually show you one, most of the things are similar to this with a few key differences. Of course, you will get a fridge and a freezer. They are a 3-way system, which means they can run off gas, they can run off electricity, they can also run off your car. You'll end up with hot water system, you've got your microwave, you've got your stovetop here, and normally they will have electric and gas. You've got lots and lots of space because quite often they are larger. While this is a 17 or an 18 foot, you might end up in a 22 or a 23 foot. Up here, air conditioning and heating, and over here, what is currently canvas becomes, well, whatever the a caravan is made out of, it's more of that stuff, which means you get your more storage as well. With a pop top, this stuff's a bit low. Like, I have no idea what's in there. I can't see because my head's above it. It's just a little bit awkward. But the game changer, particularly those of you that are traveling with families and friends, is actually having a toilet and a shower. Now, most of these systems are normally combined into one. So come in here, I'll show you how this works. You sit on the toilet like this, and there's a little shower nozzle, and you shower yourself, you shower yourself like this. And the next person that wants to come and use the toilet is covered in all of your dirty juice. Now, that is not ideal, but in some setups like this, which is an 18-foot expander, you actually end up with a separate shower and toilet. You've also got, come around here and have a little look. You've got a mirror here, you've got a sink here, you've got all of your storage. Of course, the toilets, they run on a kind of cassette system. So basically you'd use the toilet, lift the seat up like that, put that down. You've got a system down here where you can flush that. There's these little capsules you put in there. You add 500 mils of water and that sanitizes the stench of everyone's piss and all of their shit. And then there's a cartridge on the outside. You make sure you put that in a proper dumping station. By the time you've got this situation, you've got potentially your Starlink, you've got your TV, you've got your aircon. Some people argue it's not actually camping. I don't give a shit. Let's recap. Tents, kind of shit but cheap. Swags, kind of shit but cheap. Rooftop tents, if you turn up anywhere legitimate in one, a lot of people are going to think you're a straight up. I know they make sense. After that, camper trailer, if you're camping by a river for a week or two, they kind of make sense, but they're a pain in the ass to set up. The next step up, and I think is probably the sweet spot, is the expanding pop top. I really like it. I think it ticks most of the boxes. You get that campy kind of experience while still having some of the niceties of a caravan. And if you exalt yourself to the pinnacle of vanning, that is a hard shell caravan, but they can be very, very expensive. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But as with all these things, they do hold their value well. So if you do have any questions, please fax us. I'm Mugo. This is the world's best four-wheel driving channel. Say good day to your mum for me and your grandma. That's a weird video.